All right, welcome everyone to Skillful Living and Artful Life. We are blessed today to have a wonderful guest. Her name is Helena Lageder. She is actually sixth generation of the Lageder family tradition. What's great about them is that they have been winemakers and viticulturists since 1823. What would it be? Your great, great,
Great,
how many
great,
great?
great grandfather. So I'm
Yes.
sixth gen.
So Johann Lageder founded the winery back in 1823, and it is located in the beautiful Dolomite Mountain region in Alto Adige, Italy, which
I,
I promise you I'm coming to visit you.
I
Promise.
hope so.
Yes, you and Clemens were like, come.
Yeah,
Yes, I want to.
take us
So
by our
here,
word. Come.
yes. Alrighty, so Helena is one of three siblings that are now in charge of operations of the
Mhm.
Alois Lageder winery. And Helena spearheads marketing for the winery and communication and also represents the winery globally as an ambassador, in addition to overseeing the winery's culinary venture with, make sure I say this right, Vineria Paradeis.
Perfect.
Ah, wonderful. So I had the pleasure of meeting Helena through work that I do, another world that I live in for work. And I met her brother Clemens 4 years ago, and then I got to meet her, and I was like, oh, I definitely want to collaborate with her. And she graciously said yes. So that's good.
How could I
Her,
say no? You ask
I,
nice.
well, that's true. So
Pleasure.
Clemens is the director. He's the managing director. He oversees the cellar, the agriculture, sales, and finance, and and also the biodynamic farming and sustainability, which he and I totally geeked out about when we first met.
Yeah,
And then
but
your sister is also involved as well, your eldest sister, Anna.
Anna is also involved. Yes, she's an event manager. She does her own thing, but she does like events with the winery together, like Suma,
Right,
our yearly wine fair.
which would be so much fun to go to.
Definitely. Mark your dates, 5th and 6th of April, 2025.
Okay, April. I think I'm going to be doing a lot of traveling in April.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay. So, everyone out there, you're very fortunate to have this time with Helena. And I have to make sure that I don't use too much of her time. Alrighty. So, harvest is done, right? Harvest is
Harvest is
done.
done. Yeah.
Bottling.
Not yet. Bottling. Now we're bottling vintages from previous years, bit by bit. But the harvest is done. It was a tough vintage. We had a lot of rain in May and June. But actually, I did a very early morning tasting yesterday at 7:30, and 2024 looks very promising, I must say. Yeah.
Mm.
Very exciting. Yeah.
Well, I've tasted your wines, almost all of them. And so I can say that it's top notch.
Thank you very
And
much.
yeah, well, and once you start tasting wines like this, you, you don't want to go down in quality after that. It's like once you're there, it's like you got to that's where the bar is.
Never go
You
back.
know. Yeah, you can't really, and my body reacts to it, believe it or not. So
Really?
my
Okay.
body can sense the cleanness of the product that you put out, that your family puts out, which
That's very clear. Yeah.
I agree. So I
Yeah.
want to talk a little bit about what's so amazing about Alois Lageder. And one of the things that I touched on briefly is the fact that it is biodynamic, sustainably farmed. You also collaborate with vintners in the region, and
Yes.
everybody collaborates to work together as a group, which I think is lovely because that is a very kind of isolated place in the world. So you
Yeah.
all have to kind of work together, right?
Not
You
in
have to.
Siberia, but
No, but like in the mountainous region, it's not like, oh yeah, I'm going to take a drive over there and I'll be there, like, going to the Catskills in 2 hours. Like,
not easy to get to. We have our I think our airport is not as big to receive guests from all over. Direct flights from New York are not yet in in program, I would say.
right. But so what would you say that, like, if you look at the milestones of the winery and what the family has been able to do over
Yeah,
time, what would you say were the milestone markers throughout the history, starting, from like 1934, because that's when there was a shift?
yeah,
What would
sure.
you say?
So I think Alto Adige in general, as a region, had a very different reputation than it has today. I think there has been, from the 80s onwards, there has been a lot of work done towards more quality rather than quantity. I think Alto Adige, of course, was more known in the past for selling loose wine, much more quantity focused. And I think my dad was amongst the fewer private wineries in Alto Adige that took that step towards a more, I think for sure quality driven approach. And I mean, my grandmother, she did her vegetable garden in a biodynamic way, and so my dad grew up with kind of this philosophy. So for him, it was clear very early onwards. He joined in '74. For him, it was very clear that he wanted to go towards a more, a healthy type of agriculture. And for him, biodynamic agriculture captures nature on a 360-degree kind of spectrum or view, no? Because you're always talking about this closed farm organism you work with in synergy, or you try to create the synergy between animal, plant, human, and soil. And I think when we decided then to really make that step, which was only we were only able to do that in the 80s, 90s, first experiments. But this first vineyard that was actually biodynamically farmed was only in 2004. So from the 70s to 2004, it's a long period. But of course, different times, different mindsets, a lot of industrialization happening there. So it came from that movement, no? That's
Hmm.
why biodynamic agriculture kind of was born in a way. And in the first years, we kind of wanted to gain our own experience. What is biodynamic agriculture? What is healthy agriculture? Can you do it in Alto Adige, in our terroir? As well, geographically, microclimatically, and we in Alto Adige we work with farmers as well. It's an old tradition because if you imagine you're in the middle of the mountains, not a lot of soil you can work with agriculturally. And so it's an old tradition to work with farmers on it's a very tight collaboration for us where we tried from very early onwards to motivate our partners towards organic and biodynamic farming. And so
Hmm.
that process really started in 2012. And I think a huge milestone just happened, or we're in the middle of it. So with Vintage 2024, we've managed that all of our farmers which are around 60 farmers, another 85 hectares, have gone through that organic or biodynamic process, which for us is a huge accomplishment, which we are very proud of. But now,
Hmm.
as you said before, it's beautiful that you now have this kind of community that kind of is looks in the same direction. We're all working on biodiversity, the future, climate change, and you have this community where you can share knowledge, gain from things and experience what other farmers have tried in their fields, and then kind of create new ideas and develop. I think it's like this constant development in agriculture and the way how we see it and how we do it.
Yeah. And the beautiful thing is that firsthand what's happening, because it's such a special microclimate there, and you have special conditions. When there's a major shift. When you
Yeah,
have the track record already, you have over 100 years of track record. Like, what was it like 10 years ago this time? What was the yield? What
yeah,
was the temperature? What was going on with the soil?
hmm,
Oh, we hadn't implemented biodynamic farming in this part of the vineyard yet, but we did in this part of the vineyard. So you can't dispute science. And
no,
that's all empirical evidence. That's all
yeah,
empirical. You have over 100 years of empirical evidence of why you would want to do this.
yeah,
And then what do you reap from doing that? And I can say that the wines are absolutely delicious.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's true. And I don't drink a lot of wine, but if I'm going to drink it, it's got to be the best, you know? So, so I know one of the things is diversity. The
Yes.
diversity is the key to how the viticulture is handled, and it's a holistic approach. Could you speak a little bit to like how you use infusions and cover crops and the Gros Silvo Pastoro system? Can you speak to
Yeah.
any of that? Or am
Sure.
I
I think.
geeking out too much?
I mean, no, 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 not at all. I just think these are. I think uh, because you can count them easily on in like 5 seconds on five parts of your hand. But
Yeah.
I think it's for sure
You mean
each
your
one
fingers?
of them figures that not part. But I think each one is can be very seem complex in a way. Sometimes biodynamic agriculture is seen like as hocus pocus. We all dance naked under the moon and spray fairy dust into our vineyards. So I think
That could
biodynamic
be fun.
that could be fun. We could implement that as well.
Yeah.
But I think biodynamic can be so complex as well from different preparations we use. We go by moon phases or cosmic constellations. But I think in general, it's trying to break this monoculture. We want to promote a healthy agriculture by reintroducing this beautiful biodiversity. So what we do, of course, is we have different crops, cover crop we use throughout different times of the years, different time of the season, as well in favor, of course, for the microorganism below the soil, for the attracting insects above the soil. You have different cover crops that create different roots, longer ones, thicker ones, to loosen up the soil so you can store water better, CO2 is stored better, or it can bind it better. Then you have different cover crops for our oxen as well, in favor for them, because we have animals in our vineyards that graze through them during the winter months. So that's the animal side of the things as well. And then we have one part or one large field now that normally in Alto Adige, if you look around, because it's so dense here with agriculture, monoculture, basically industry, cities, buildings, and so on. So there is no free fields anymore. So there's not like it's not like you go through. I don't know. I've just been to Napa Valley a couple of weeks ago. Endless fields, free space to plant, to do, to build, to whatever what. And here it's very condensed, and so our multi-purpose kind of field is one of the only ones in Alto Adige on a
Mm,
lower in a lower valley what you can find, and we use it for winter crops. We use it for we have how do you call it, a winter a garden house there where we
mm.
grow our tomatoes in
Oh, like a
summertime,
greenhouse?
like a greenhouse. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
You've got different fruit trees planted there. You've got a part which is a field for our cows and the oxen. So it's a multi-purpose field that, yeah, that increases biodiversity, and that's, I think, a very important part when we look at the future.
Mhm.
And that we all should think about that diversity is key. Diversity not only in agriculture but in everything when looking
Truth.
at it.
Yes.
Yeah. And then of course, if you speak about team fusion, but that's, I think, getting very geeky with team fusions or the
Okay.
cow horn preparations. Where, I mean, if you think of it, if I'm stressed or I want to get tired at night, if my head is running high or my mind is running, I drink a chamomile tea.
That's right.
Why
Yeah,
shouldn't that also work for plants?
exactly.
You calm it
I
down,
have chamomile. I live by it at night.
right? Yeah.
Yes,
See,
for sure. Yes,
why should we give it to our plants in a way?
exactly. And just to go out and pick some and be like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna dry
But I
this
think
out a little bit.
to see what works for you as a farmer, what can you do as well. you kind of have to create this balance, of course, as well between the also an ecological factor, because of course we have a certain structure where we have people that we didn't just buy cows and then no one looks after them. We do have people who are in charge of the animals, of our vegetable garden, in agriculture, all different departments, no? But you kind of have to see what works, and maybe in future we don't speak about biodynamic agriculture anymore, but I hope we'll speak about a healthy way of agriculture. And I think
Right,
also a conventional farmer can be can do healthy agriculture, but kind of the poison is in the quantity
right.
that you
Yeah.
use of venomous,
Yeah,
like
you can say poisonous, same thing. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Well, that's good. I'm glad that people get a chance to hear this.
yeah,
All righty. No, seriously, because I mean, I think it's wonderful that you were able to also do something with your bottling, the Suma bottle.
yeah,
Can you
yeah,
tell us
yeah.
a
I
little
mean,
bit about the Suma bottle?
also there, of course, we're no
That the
saint.
wine goes into, just in case anybody's wondering what I'm talking about. Suma bottles are a particular type of bottle that they're using for their wine.
I mean, we created a couple of years ago an elegant style of lightweight bottle because there is not so much on the market, and in one's mind sometimes, or let's say older days, was always like a big wine has to be in a big bottle, and
Right,
it kind
right,
of we had to, because we also looked for lightweight bottles on the market, but there
right.
weren't any that we would say like our top range we would see. And so we just took the chance and said we just want to unify it. We have a lightweight bottle which is called Suma that other producers were very welcome to use. It's not copyrighted or anything because we
Mhm.
want other producers to jump on that train with us.
That's
And
lovely.
it's just
A lot of people here would be profiting on the patent for that, but you're like, no,
yeah,
here, you can do it too.
sure, because we have to work on it together. I mean, it's another thing where it's like it's not something that we should keep in our winery. It needs to spread. We all need to realize that we have to change something now.
Beautiful.
So the Suma bottle is no, it's an elegant type of lightweight bottles. It weighs 420 grams. We save
Wow.
a lot of glass, a lot of CO2, let's say, that is shipped to everywhere. But of course, I mean, we're still shipping to the
Right.
United States, to
Sure.
China, and so on. No, we're no saints either, but I think it's always about developing new ideas, trying to get better. And I think there's a lot of things done at the moment in logistics, shipping in a sustainable way. So I think around us, they're changing a lot of things.
hmm Yeah, which is good. Change is good,
Yeah.
especially when we're working together.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go back into the vineyards. How
Yes.
many different varietals are you growing? Because I've tasted a lot of Pinot Grigio and I've tasted some of the varietals, but how many varietals do you have growing right now? Is that a
So
crazy question?
no, not at all. It's a good question. Alto Adige is a small region, but I think it's a very unique region because of its also here diversity. We
Hmm,
work with different altitudes, different soil types, different microclimates. So there are actually a lot of varietals that can find good conditions to grow here in Alto Adige. In Alto Adige, we have around 25 different ones that are already registered, and we have a Pinot Grigio, Pinot Bianco, Chardonnay, Pinot Noir. You've got Schiava, an indigenous variety.
Schiava. I
There's
like
Cabernet.
Schiava.
I love Schiava. It's a cool
I do
wine. Yeah,
too. Yeah.
good variety. I love it. But
hmm
then we kind of um, we're very curious at the winery. We're very curious. We have a lot of questions that we want answers to.
Mm,
And also, my father, I think this is nothing where we say this is now the new generation. This is something what my father started 40 years ago, where he got already interested to work in climate change and started reading first climate models. How will it be in the future? How will it look like south of the Alps? And so he started bringing in from southern wine growing regions like south of France, Greece, south of Italy. He started to bring in and plant varietals that come from those regions. So there are varieties that are already used to hotter climate. They have higher acidic structure. And so we have a vast variety of different varieties that we've been trying now for 40 years, some of them.
Wow.
And so you have a little bit of Viognier, you have Petit Manseng, you have Sirtico from Greece, you've got Tanat,
Mm.
Manzoni Bianco, which is not too far away. It's not too far away where it comes from, but still has beautiful acidic structure. So there are different varieties that I think we need to experiment with for the future because a tradition is very good. I love bringing tradition with us into the future, but it has to work. We can't be fixated on something and just try to change it in the cellar so it just tastes like it used to. I mean, climate from today to 30 years ago and in 30 years, completely different. And so I think we need to adapt to new ways and find new approaches how to bring back freshness in a natural way without opening up acidity bags in a cellar and so on. No,
Yeah.
and so I think that's kind of the key because we kind of try to be this mirror to our region. We're an alpine region, so trying to produce wines that are fresh, vertical, have a beautiful structure and characteristic, but they don't have to be 16% of alcohol. They don't have
Mhm.
to be opulent, and so this is something what we continuously try to work on.
Wonderful. Excellent. So, of course, always the case for me is pairing. And what else would you like to pair with wine than
Uh
food?
oh.
Than food. We already talked about me working there. So you told
Oh
me you
yeah,
already have a position for me.
yeah, it's
I,
open. We're starting in March
yeah,
2025.
there you go. Okay. Vineria Paradeis. What I've looked at all of the pictures. I'm like, I want to go eat there. I
Yeah.
want to eat there all the time. I'll pick the food out of the garden. It just looks amazing. It's organically certified restaurant.
Yes.
And all the product comes from there, like your meat, the garden, family farms. You have a garden GrandOrto, which
Yes.
I'm not
Right.
sure. I don't know what that means exactly, but I know you're going to tell me.
GrandOrto. Orto is my vegetable garden, and Grand is big, so
Big,
big
right.
vegetable
Okay, that I
garden.
knew. I should have known that. Shame on me. Oh my God. So is it open all the time or is it open up seasonally?
We do have a season, a long season, so we open up in March
Oh, that's
and
why.
go
Okay. I'll
right
make sure to get my
until
visa.
yeah, we have 2 months. Oh
Yeah.
no, 4 now. Yeah,
Okay.
and
Whatever we
then it
got to
goes on
do.
till yeah, and then it goes on till mid of December. And I think Paradise is kind of for sure my heart project, something I'm very attached to. I grew up mostly with my grandmother and a lot with her in the kitchen,
Mm,
baking, making, watching her,
yeah.
feeding her 6 children and all of her nieces, nephews, and so on, and grandchildren. And so I think gastronomy was always something I would have wanted to come back to. So I wanted to join the winery because of Paradise to take it over. And I think over the years it grew kind of I mean, today you find it everywhere, farm to table,
Yeah.
which I'm happy about, which
Yeah.
I think it's a great
It's,
movement
you're
that
the OGs. You're the originals.
I'm not sure if we're the originals, but
One of
for
them.
sure not the originals, but it's
Yeah.
done in a way where it's really possible. Because
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm a chef in I don't know where in a big city, it's much more difficult to have your own vegetable garden in front of your house. No, for us it's much easier. We have our own oxen that we offer at the restaurant. It's always terrible to say you slaughter an animal, but
Right.
also it's part of the circle in a way. They live
Right.
outside 365 days a year for 3-4 years, and they get slaughtered at the vineyards on mobile slaughtering system. So much less impact on the animal. we've got our own pigs, you've got your own garden, but
Mm-hmm.
also, of course, seasonal, meaning that sometimes a harvest goes bad, sometimes our orto is not ready yet. So, of course, we rely also on partners in the area that are organic, biodynamically certified. So it's also a beautiful partnership there with other farmers.
So you're cooking there. Do you
No, I
cook?
wish I would be cooking.
Oh,
No, no, no.
yummy, yummy.
I have a great team at Paradise that work closely with me, and a great team in the kitchen as well. And it's very much it's soul food. It's nothing. There's no shishi. We're not after stars or anything. It's really something. It's very technically elevated in quality, high quality, on a very easy soul food, Alpine meets Mediterranean cuisine
Mm,
type of yeah, thing.
sounds great with a glass of schiava.
Yes, exactly.
Sounds wonderful. I'm so looking forward to
Starting your job.
starting my new job in March. I'm so looking forward to this. Um, to be like your oldest intern.
Perfect. I
Mm,
mean, like I
your
said, no,
most experienced intern. I'll give you that too.
yeah,
Um,
diversity, eh?
what's that?
Diversity is key, not
That's
only in
right.
agriculture. But
That's
yeah.
right. Exactly. So where do you see, I know you probably hear this all the time. Where do you see Alois Lageder and this beautiful, you have your own ecosystem there. You've created
Mhm.
an ecosystem within an ecosystem. Where do you see it going? Where do you want it to go? You're head of marketing. What's in your mind on this? Or do you not think
Very,
about it that way?
uh, no, for sure you think about it. Where do you want to go? Of course, we have goals, we have a vision. I think right now we reached such a big goal for us that to motivate our partners to come with us towards that type of agriculture. So that was already a huge milestone for us, with always a lot of projects going on around there. So I think at the moment we're also, in terms of winery, we're kind of enjoying the moment, as well as not rushing into everything new and everything we want it now. But I think it's only natural. That was the plan. Now I have continuous conversations and meetings been having in the past weeks of new projects, new things what we want to do, and I think they all come together as one big. But I think what I would hope to do is that you're kind of trying to motivate even more people. It's not only our farmers, but it's our customers, it's people we work with, it's farmers from the area, wineries from the area, not even the area, much further,
Hmm.
to realize that we all have to go towards a healthy agriculture for sake of all of us in future. So I think what I hope for is a vision where we could say that in future there's much more healthy agriculture going on, that people realize it, that healthy is not always more expensive, because of course now we all know whole foods, we all know organic produce, it's much more expensive. I hope politics turn around and go after right interests, and there are different subventions and helps that more farmers can afford this type of agriculture, and so we can balance it out that way. So I hope in future will become or grow as a bigger topic. So it's not necessarily what I want with the winery. It's the larger scale I hope for.
Fantastic. It's a great mission. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted you. This is one of the reasons that I wanted you on, because
Mm,
this is something that's very important to me. This is how to live more skillfully, right? And so the more skillful you become at things, it becomes an art, which is exactly what your family and your
mm,
lineage has achieved.
yeah,
Skillfulness in
thank you.
action. Yes, skillfulness in action, and then also making beautiful art out of it as well.
Thank you very
Perfect.
much.
Oh my
Kind.
God. Yeah. No, this is why this had to happen. This is why this
Yeah.
had to happen. It was meant to be. It was in the stars. So,
Yeah.
so thank
Yeah.
you so much for your time, Helena. I really appreciate you making some time for me, and even with the time difference between us. And I'm looking forward to posting this for everyone to enjoy and be inspired. Thank you for inspiring me, your whole family.
Thank
And
you for
please
having.
give my regards. Oh, you're welcome. Give my regards to Clemens, and we will catch up soon.
Yeah, I'll send over the contract then, yeah.
Great. Do it. Do it. Do it. I'm not even kidding. I need a break.